Thank you so much for joining us for another in our series, A Story to Tell. Today we have with us Mr. Michael Thompson, and he'll be sharing his journey with us. Sir Michael, how are you doing?
I'm good, sir. I'm good.
You look as if you are nervous. Are you nervous?
Well.
Yes, you're saying well a lot of times.
I kind of not the person who will love to be in the camera, but
of course, yeah.
Sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah, we're just having a little chat, so just feel relaxed and just share your journey with us. So tell us about your early years, which year you were born and where you were born.
All right, I'm originally a Kingstonian, born 1970.
So you're born at Jubilee or UWI?
Is which one again? Jubilee.
Okay, and what were your parents' name, mother and father?
All right, my mother's name is Verona Thompson. My mother's name is Martin Thompson.
You say your mother's name twice, you know. So you're still nervous. So your mother's name is Verona Thompson,
and my father's name is
Martin Thompson. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's relax, man. We're taking it easy.
I don't like the camera thing.
So tell us now, you have other siblings?
Yes, I have other siblings.
Yeah, tell us about how much of them, male, female, and where you from.
All right. I have, originally we started out as 6 of us, but we are now at 5. In that 5, I am third.
Yeah, third.
So you have 1 girl, 4 boys.
1 girl, 4 boys. So that's the eldest to the youngest. You remember that?
The eldest to the youngest.
So the first one is?
The first one is the girl.
What's her name?
Susan.
Susan, yes.
Then you have Paul.
Paul.
Then you have Michael.
Michael, that's you.
Then you have Pete.
Pete.
And then you have Ricky.
Ricky. And the other one passed away as a child, or?
She would be the last one. Tanisha. She would be the last one.
Yeah, how did she pass away?
All right. They say memories don't leave like people do. They always stay with you. My sister, it started out in, I'm trying to remember the year now. As a matter of fact, Sunday gone was her, she would have been 43. Right? But she growing with 4 boys, she was, them used to call her a tomboy.
Can you imagine?
Because she grew with 4 big brothers for support and everything. And it so happened that one morning she was in bed, normal day, planning to go to school, and just crying, said she can't get up out the bed. Right? Only to know that she was feeling some severe pains in her knees. The long and short of it, when we took her to Children's Hospital, they had to run some series of tests, and only to discover that she had bone cancer. But seemingly, at the time when it was detected, it's almost like, what can we do now?
Yes. So how old was she at that time?
9-year-old.
9-year-old. So all of the siblings' name is Thompson?
All of the siblings.
All of it. So okay.
Thompson.
Okay, so all of them is Thompson. So how did you guys manage that death at the time? Must have been devastating.
All right. First of all, I must say she spent about 5 months in Children's Hospital till she was the talk of the hospital. Because one of the things about it is that her mood and her attitude was so different for a 9-year-old. And one of the things she keep reminding us of while she was there is that some of us have to raise from the grave. And I must add in...
And she was 9?
Yes, and I must add in this little part. I remember before it actually happened, like a week before, she was adamant. She keep telling my mother, say, Mommy, I want to be baptized. I want to be baptized. And at first, they're like, 9-year-old.
Yes.
And usually for me, they tend to take me as the bigger one. Because me tend to take the lead in something. So when it came out, I said, well, if she want to be baptized, make she
Let her
baptized.
baptize.
And it was the week after that,
Mm-hmm.
after she was baptized, she got up she just couldn't walk the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So she spent 5 months in children's hospital, but she was the top of the hospital
Mm-hmm.
during those 5 months. To this day, if nurses are there who were there in that time, they would have remembered her. Because
yeah.
when you go on Ward 5 and say Tanisha Thompson,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, because that don't sound like a normal 9-year-old.
Right. The pain got so severe that some of the days I did not go to the hospital. Why? Because I think for me personally, I don't do well with suffering. I think I can handle death more than suffering. And then our legs, our knees, the joints started to look like an adult. For a 9-year-old,
yes.
they were so swollen.
Yes.
She looked like an adult.
Wow.
The knees, just in the joints here. So that part of it I just couldn't handle.
What about how it affected your parents? How they manage it?
Well, what this part of the journey is sad. All right. My mother, I think she handled it much better than my father. My father internalized a lot, so he never talked much about it. But part of what helped us on the journey was her attitude.
Yes.
For a 9-year-old.
Yes.
Her attitude for a 9-year-old.
Very encouraging and positive.
Yes. Yes. And every time you meet her, don't worry, mommy, some of us have to raise from the grave. If I don't remember anything that she used to
that
say,
statement
I
stand
remember
out.
that part. Don't worry, mommy. Some of us have to raise from the grave.
Yeah.
Right? So even when she passed on, I did not cry. It may be like about 2 or 3 months after. But really one day, and it just hit me that she really not there again. But the funeral and everything.
Yeah.
And that funeral journey was another journey. Because the same day of the funeral, my father leave and was up and down in the morning. And there was an accident.
Yes.
Internal bleeding.
Yes.
Emergency surgery.
Yes.
So to this day, he don't have a clue what the funeral was like.
Oh, so he went into the hospital.
He met in an accident the same day.
So he was not able to make the funeral.
He was not at the funeral.
What year would have that would have been?
That would have been she would have been 43.
Yeah, 9.
Gone.
Yeah, so she born 1980. Yes.
So it would have
89.
Yes.
89. Okay, so he didn't get to go to the funeral.
None at all.
Yeah.
To this day, he don't know what. And then those funerals in those times, he never used to do much. People never used to do much recording.
Yes.
Funeral.
Yes.
They just go funeral
in the 80s.
And it just done this.
Yeah. Who miss it? You miss it. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So that part of the journey was very sad. Was very sad. But we pulled through, and you know, with the help of family, friends, and just a relationship with God, just made a difference with that experience.
So transitioning now to you as a child growing up now, what school you went to?
All right, the first school I remember I go to is a school in Portmore that they used to call, and people might laugh when they hear it, Cowpen Basic School.
That's a real name?
That's the name everybody used. To this day, we never know what the real name of the school is. Which school you go? Cowpen Basic School. And one of the reasons why they used to call it Cowpen is that there was a cowpen right beside. And it was one of them like a board. They're like a board up basic school in the community.
Yes. So
that's what everybody know it at. Which school you go? Cowpen Basic School.
So you're born in Portmore?
No. Actually, 19 Franklin Avenue.
Where is that? Franklin Town?
Yeah, Franklin
Town, okay.
So I left from Franklin Town when I was 6. And Portmore. And
you all went to Portmore?
Yes, since that.
Okay, so after Cowpen Basic
School, I leave from there and go to at the time, I think it's a high school now, but the name of it then was Gregory Park Primary School. I know the name has changed now, and it is a high school now, right in the square of Gregory Park after you come over the train line. So that it was Gregory Park All-Age School. And I left from there to one of the best schools in JA. Woolmer's Boys School.
Woolmer's Boys School. And I know a lot of persons watching will agree with you. So, one of the best. It is a very good school, I must say. So how were you growing up as a child? You were well behaved and settled, or you give a lot of trouble?
All right. One of the things, parenting then and now was totally different. My mother wasn't somebody who got to church. My father wasn't somebody who got to church, but you could not tell that they were not growing up in a church family.
Yes.
In terms of how they dealt with us. We never had the privilege, even Franklin Town there, so we never had the privilege of running down on the street.
Yes.
And all over the place. Our childhood, right inside the house. Right? So we spent most of our childhood at home, just inside.
Yes.
And enjoying what is inside. I remember one day we were playing hide and seek. And, me tend to be the one where some weird things always happen. Where I know, and those who remember, I had bed with the bed chunk in it. Where the little, like a little casket.
Yeah.
Go in that now, hide, and then when it slammed down, it couldn't open. And all of it there, no parent, no there. It was one struggle to get me out of it. When they finally get me out, hide and seek done.
That's it.
Right? And then we had to keep it hush. So I was the kind of as the third one, the one who helped to keep things down. I remember another incident where one of my brother, they went out to pick almond off this almond tree. We used to call it almond then.
Yeah, almond.
Yeah. And he fell out the tree.
And your parents weren't there?
No. And it blacked out.
Jesus.
And then my two other brothers know, so what we're going to do with him? The plan was to bury him, because you don't know what to do. So everybody turned fool. Kids them time then, you turn fool, you don't know what to do. So everybody have planned to make we bury him. Right? The long and short of it, he finally revived. I would go home and everybody keep it hush.
Jesus.
So that's how we used to operate.
But wasn't he in pain?
Boy, I guess them time there, me don't know.
Him just hold it down.
Whether I did that feel, but you couldn't make your parent know.
Yeah,
so it does. But the good thing about it, it wasn't severe that later on he had to go in. He never go doctor none at all.
Oh, man.
And I'm not even sure if my mother and my father ever hear, but what we did, when the bad thing, we just keep it among ourselves. And me was the one to ensure that, all right?
Yeah, just make it rest right here.
To keep that one. So most of our childhood, we spent it together. Another thing with our childhood, which is not something that looking back now, I love to speak about, but we were not exposed a lot in terms of getting the privilege to blend with other families, right? I don't know why then we didn't have that privilege. So most of our life was just together. So when you talk about like a party and them like a thing, to this day is not a big deal. When you talk about birthday party, like a party, like a going here and going there.
That wasn't a part of it.
That wasn't a part of our life. You don't know what that like. So to this day now, you get so adjusted that it's no big deal.
Yeah.
But I find that now when I get the opportunity, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
This is good.
This is a new experience.
Yeah, because it never. But the only little part about it now, when my brother started to get bigger now, when everybody teenage, young age, them now used to go and do them little things. And parents don't know. So it so happened that a lot of things were happening that I was left in the dark. Yes. Meaning the three of them together. I'm always gone on some journey, gone some place all over. Nobody know
big now.
Yes. But me always just cool and easy to the point that person didn't know me.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know that I was one of the brothers.
Okay.
So they know everybody.
Yeah. Cause you not going nowhere.
They know everybody and they don't know me. So when I came, even to this day, there are some persons who still don't know me. Them will see my brothers, everybody know and call to them, but they, oh, your brother that, me never know, so you never another brother. So me did kind of, because I was more on the reserve side during that time.
So after you left Woolman's, you went straight to work or you continued going to school?
Yes, after I left Woolman's, I think part of it mainly was my parents at that time wasn't able to afford it in terms of sending you further on to school. And there were many days that we went to school not having lunch money. We go to school and come home back and eat something. Right? So because of that, after fifth form, my work.
That's when you can work.
Straight in the working world.
Okay, what was your first job?
My first job was working at a car rental company.
As a salesperson?
Yes. Right. And how I ended up in that job was where I used to attend church. The owner of that business was my Sunday school teacher. So that's how I ended up there and spent like about 2 years. And then ended up after that at Victoria Mutual Building Society. And I spent like about 17 years.
At VMBS?
At VMBS. And then now from VMBS to where I am now.
Yes. So tell us now, you say you're Sunday school teacher. How you guys started to go to church? Because you said your parents weren't, church person.
Where we were in Franklin Town. All right. There is this school, Morrison Primary. There was a church. I think it was a Moravian church. We used to walk from our parents. Church was the thing. So even though they never used to go to church, they ensured that Sunday was church.
So they send you.
So we used to, where it was in Franklin Town, we go every Sunday and walk go. So we were exposed to church then until how we ended up at Pentab now. I think it was somebody in the community
invited you.
And then we started the transition from that church to Pentab.
To Pentab, okay. So what was your Sunday school teacher name that gave you that job at first time?
At that time, his name was Michael Miller.
Okay. Michael give Michael a job?
Yes.
So big up Mr. Miller for giving you your first job. So at VMBS now, you said you spent 17 years. That's quite a long time to be working at one place. Is it that you're at one position or you were moving?
I didn't. Let me tell you how it started. How I got that job, I don't remember who the person was, but it was a church link saying that they needed a bearer to fill the gap for somebody who was going on leave. For 3 weeks. So that job was really for
3 weeks. And 3 weeks turned to 17 years?
3 weeks turned to 17 years. 3 weeks turned
So you moved to different positions.
Yes, and I must say, because even though it was a bearer job, it wasn't one of the regular bearer. Meaning the documents that they had then were sensitive documents. So they didn't, this bearer is just to deal with these sensitive documents where you're going to like lawyers. Most of it, I went to lawyer firms. And to this day I still have connection with some of those lawyers.
Yes.
Because you had to go, and when you go, the instruction, you cannot leave the documents even to the security.
Yes.
You have to go straight to the lawyer. So after a while, my face was known at these lawyer firms. Once the security them see me, them say, you already know, say, you have to go straight up to the lawyer.
Yeah.
Right? That experience now, when the 3 weeks ended, my manager at the time decided that no, I have to find a way to keep this gentleman.
Yeah, very valuable young man.
Because I guess the feedback from the lawyers and everything and my attitude towards the job. So what he actually did was created a position to get me to stay at that time. So the position never exists. So what he did was look at a number of things and created a job for me.
Yeah, with some multiple tasks from different areas.
Multiple tasks from different areas. And I think at that time, the title was documentation assistant, but it was a wide area.
So what age you start working at VMBS?
I started working at VM from I was 19.
19.
Going to 20. Somewhere there.
So we can do the maths and know what age you leave.
Yeah.
So you enjoyed the VMBS days, you must say.
Yeah, man.
You remember any good friends you had from those days that you still talk to now?
Well, you have, I remember like Michael Bellamy.
Another Michael again. Very common name.
Yes. Michael Bellamy. Well, as a matter of fact, you had about 4 Michaels. And they used to mix us up. Right? You had Anton Burke. And big up to my two, well, we did have so much boss. You had Opal Clark, Gavin Lowe, Patricia Burke, several persons who and that was another drama at VM because I had like three
persons that you report to.
So, but the thing about it is that when I want certain things to done, me go to the one who has the last word.
The final say.
They used to take and make a joke out of it and say, boy, it's easy, you go to your big boss, so from him sign out. And I remember, and again, big up to Gavin Lowe, wherever you are.
Big up Gavin.
Big up to Gavin Lowe and Favour. That man, the house I'm living in presently, he came to me one day and said, boy, Michael, some house coming out in and I want to get one of them. I'm like,
seriously?
That man is not easy. You know, see the title when me have on.
Yeah.
When me gonna get all of this money, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And the long and short of it, the lawyer fee, all the down payment and all of that, I got those funds.
Just like that?
Just like that. I got
that is so
those
good.
funds from different persons.
Yes.
I remember when the extension was to be done. It was a quad then. When the extension was to be done on the house, the same thing again. Then we never get all of this money, blah, blah, blah. He again allowed with his authority then. Now, me no reach the amount of years for staff. Loan yet, and I get staff loan at staff rate. So when I remember one day when the file come down and them look on the file and see the name and see the interest rate on it, them like, but it's top management. Then give the approval.
So Favour was being shown to you.
Favour. So I get that mortgage at a staff rate, and I didn't do the years of service yet to get the staff rate. When I was doing the extension on the house again, the same thing. So the NHD thing and all of that, all this I got work. But he stood right at his desk and I got that NHD loan. By his contacts. He just asked me for the documents. I provide them and it just...
And that's Gavin Lowe.
Yes.
Yeah. Big up yourself, Mr. Lowe.
To this day, that's where I'm living.
You know if he's still alive?
I believe so. I think last year I spoke to him. I think he was some manager at Fontana Pharmacy the last time I spoke to him. But he might have no, not Fontana. Frustrate
electrical.
Yes. Because he had left VMBS.
Seems like a very good guy.
Yes, man. My life, I must tell you, sir, my life is Favour from the start till now. Favour.
So we're transitioning now to your family now. So working at VMBS, at what point you started your family?
Well, I actually got married at what? Again, 1993.
1993.
Right, and then 3 years after, I had my first child.
What's his name?
Miguel.
And you have more than one children?
2. Miguel and Joel.
Miguel and Joel. Two boys.
Two boys.
Two boys. And your wife, what's your wife's name? And tell us how you met her.
All right. My wife's name is Michael Thompson. All right, how I met her. Again, because of me not accustomed to going to places and all of that, the church link again now. So when I was at Pentab, there was a group of persons who they used to like after service. They would say, all right, we're going go downtown and just walk and talk.
Yeah, and chill out a little bit.
And walk by the seaside and all of that.
Yes.
And just
chill out and talk.
So there were one and two persons in that group that I was familiar with. Brother Alston, I remember, is one of those. Brother Mervyn Ilton is one of those persons. And there are others, but those are the two. And Wayne Barrett also. Wayne Barrett. So they used to just walk as a group from downtown. From Pentab to downtown or wherever. Sometimes they used to go Devon House, wherever.
Yeah, and
so all of us, after a while, I started getting attached to that group. So my wife actually is from Montego Bay, right? So I remember they have a relative team living in Kingston. So for the first time, they came to Kingston, and the uncle took them to Pentab. Now, it was on that journey now, Mervyn and Wayne and decide that they're going to walk with them to show them, what town is like.
Yeah, get them up, show them the place.
About town.
Yes.
They don't know nothing about town. So it was out of that, and at that time it was the three sisters, because my wife is a twin.
Okay.
So 3 sisters, right? And in the group walking together, I don't know what to call, but automatically I find that while we were walking, I was more attached to Maureen than the other sister.
What's her other sister name?
Marva.
Marina Marva.
Yes. And I was more attached to she in terms, because you're walking with them.
Yes.
They don't know town, so you have to talk and say, all right, over there, so that and that. So
let me ask you a question, Mikey. Oh, you know them different since it's
all right. That was a drama. I remember one day when they came to Kingston again, because they started every now and then when they come into their uncle, they would come to Kingston, and when they come to Pentab.
Yes.
So now I remember, so by that time I should say, because she was the one out of the group of the sisters that I was talking to. By then we started to just communicate via phone and all of that. So I remember now one day when they come back to Kingston again, I don't remember what I said then, honestly, but we were having a but I thought it was the
other sister.
It was the
Marva.
It was Maureen.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you thought it was Maureen?
Yeah, only to realize that it was Marva I was talking to, because like, who am I talking about?
Yes.
Right? And what my wife did was say to me, all right, guess what? I have a little birthmark at the side of my face here.
Yeah.
So after that now, when both of them are together, the first thing I do
look for the birthmark.
Is just without it looking obvious, is just kind of take a glance to see.
Let's lean over the and look.
Until I was able to look at them and
see other differences.
Until I was.
So they thought the same as well. The sound same over the phone.
Look here, only me never get fooled by those girls.
Jesus.
Because what they used to do, I remember one incident. I feel sorry for the young man. So here was this young man who claimed that him liked the other sister now, Marva. Right? So by then I was into the family in terms of the friendship. So I used to go by. Can you imagine Nestine?
Go to Mobile?
Why love making do some things,
So you reach a Mobile?
Well, no, people never couldn't understand how I did it. All right. After we got the friendship start. Now me I go Mobile for the first now. All they know say me must take a bus and come Mobile.
Yeah.
And come off in the square.
Yes.
And then they would meet me there and take me. So that was the first connection. But people would never know. Every Saturday or every other Saturday, me go Mobile and I'm in church early Sunday morning. Nobody would never know that because by then you get used to the Mobile move, and there was this particular bus, and never forget the name of the bus, iPower. Those were the famous bus to Montego Bay. Then
is it a coaster bus?
No, it was that before the coaster. It's
highest bus.
The highest bus. Now I get to find out that these buses leave Kingston very early and become an early bird already. Yes. So sometimes like 5 o'clock, me the downtown already.
Yeah, for the first bus.
For the first trip from iPower till to the point that I was one of the regular customers. The regular customer. Right? And that same bus, we would know what time the driver is going to come back to Kingston. Yes. So by then,
yeah, you have a routine worked out.
Routine, you go to the house, you know that you come back in this way, catch the bus, and you gone back again, and Sunday morning with it. And people just couldn't understand how you do that. But it worked.
It worked. You were telling us about the young man who got them mixed up.
Yes, back to the young man now. So I remember one day I was at the house, the Saturday now. So this young man come at the gate and ready for, he was from the church. What Paul Gallimore church name again?
King's Chapel.
King's Chapel, right.
King's Chapel.
Right, King's Chapel. Even King's Chapel, there were some of those men that kind of have me up, you know, because them just couldn't understand how this man come all the way from Kingston.
Oh, because that was the church that you used to go to, King's Chapel.
How this man come all the way from Kingston and we there try getting between and none of them now go to it.
Well,
what did you
they
do
didn't have
different?
the magic touch.
What did you do different? So when I just started going there, I was like, him that's it.
Yeah.
So one day, you know, I was at home with them at their house. One of the guys turned out and me inside and sit down and watch, you know. So Marva, he came to Marva. So what Marva did was went out at the gate and started a conversation with him and have him there. And she said, give me a minute, me soon come. You know what she did? She tell her sister where she end the conversation.
I send her out.
And the other one just come out and pick up. I said, jeez, I'm looking up and the guy I told him in a fool.
And he never realized.
Or him no know say it's not the same one.
Yes.
Him
just continue talking.
You see? Them never do what I did. If you did, they would have look and realize and say,
Yes.
That was very important. They used to love doing that. Just for the fun of it. Just for the fun. And me used to laugh and say, boy, I'm dangerous.
So eventually they moved from Montego Bay when they got married. Your wife come up to Kingston.
Yes.
And the house that you're living in now, that was the first house.
All right. I must add this one in. It's not a good memory, but I feel comfortable saying it. When she came to Kingston and we got married, I was at my parents' house then still. But it so happened that we got somewhere, same place in Portmore, to live. It was somebody that I know, but it was a bad experience. It was a bad experience, and I ended up less than a year. And I came back to my parents' house. And I remember even with that situation, my father was saying to me, why don't stay until you get somewhere for yourself? But you're like, you know, you get married, you don't want to be in your parents' house. You want to go.
Yeah.
So I ended up back at my parents' house.
The situation was that bad.
Yeah. It was, and the sad part about it, these were people that I was familiar with. The individual or somebody, it wasn't a stranger.
So without calling the name, I want to find out exactly what was that situation. You don't have to call the name.
All right. I am married and you want to control the do's and the don'ts. When you go out and when you come in and your door must stay open and it's like we were two little boys and girls.
That couldn't work out. Yeah.
It's your house, so you're dictating.
That couldn't work out.
When we go in, when we come out, leave the door open, don't do this, don't do that. I'm like, no sir.
It's not gonna work out for long.
It's not gonna work out. So less than a year, I came back at my parents' house.
So how did your wife manage that? You going back to your parents' house? How she manage that?
Well, it wasn't it wasn't one that she wanted. Cause you want your own space to do your own thing. Cause when that happened now, my mother would have at that time be doing the cooking for most part. I know that kind of because the space wasn't there to accommodate two stove and the two on operating in the kitchen. So she used to do more of the cooking then. So that kind of chore.
So you stayed for how long and then you go to another place?
I stayed there. We went to where I am now, 96. So I spent at least 2 years at my mother's house before this house that I got through VMBS.
Okay. Tell us something about yourself that most persons don't know. You weren't prepared for that, but I just need to ask you that. That's a fact about you that probably most persons don't know. You can pinpoint anything like that.
Most persons don't know that I am what you would say now. If you touch me really hard, I can get real upset.
As in physically touch you?
In terms of
confrontation, disrespectful,
yes,
argument.
Yes. Right. And it is a part that I have learned to control and I've done well over the years. As a matter of fact, I remember, and I knew that it was there. I remember one incident with my brother, and by this time I was seasoned going to church. And I'm afraid to say that part.
Yes.
I remember I was at home and my brother got into, this was my bigger brother, he got into confrontation with somebody outside. And like 3 guys, they started beating up my brother. And when I saw that, I couldn't
stand by
that. So me get involved and really go on bad. And after all of that, I said to myself, wow, we never know. Say
that part of you was in there, it was dormant.
Yeah. So yeah, I know that I am generally a cool person. Don't get easily upset, but I know that part of me, was there, which a lot of people don't know. Can you just see me as a cool and easy person? So I had to learn how to adjust and control till I find that I'm doing much, much better till it's like that part don't exist anymore.
Okay. So, touching a little bit on growing up your children, how was it growing up your 2 boys? They had traits that you had growing up as a child, sheltered just like you are. You try to expose them a little more.
All right. They got what I got. So my boys, and it is not something that I love to speak about now. My boys never exposed to a lot of things, right? For more than one reason. They were never exposed to a lot of things. And looking back, I realized that was where I made a blunder. And some of it wasn't my fault directly, is how you were cultured. And I realized that, but this never makes no sense.
Yes.
Right? So where we are with them now, I can tell you, one is 26 and one is 19. And this is the best relationship I'm having with those 2 boys now, because I have realized
them get a little freedom.
And not just because I have realized that some of the things that I thought was right for them was wrong. And I admit it to them.
But you're only doing your best. What you know best.
But believe you me, when it talk about, and I'm not patting my shoulder, if you interview those boys about their father, there's nobody like their father. Because I remember even my smaller son.
Yeah.
The one who is 19 now, he was asthmatic from months old. And from like about 8 months old till he was 9. I spent all of that time at Children's Hospital with him. To this day, the doctors don't know my wife. And it's not that she didn't want to or she couldn't, but that I thought that when I look at Children's Hospital and the stress and where I have to go through.
But it's only one parent could stay, no sir?
Yeah.
One parent.
And I said to myself, me could have put my wife through this, go through.
So you would have stay and rub the bench.
So me just take the role. I remember there were several early mornings rushing to him, and you're talking about rushing with him on the bus.
Yes.
To get into Children's Hospital. To the point that I was one of the favorite for the doctor, all of us. Because by then he was on the clinic. They have what you call asthma clinic.
Okay.
That's what they name it at that time. Right? So by then I was basically
it's a regular.
Yeah. So the doctor I remember I said, no, God, this is a favor. I remember one day I went there with him and he was gasping for breath. And I remember a nurse looked at me and said, why, Daddy, those other people are waiting too. When they're sure what happened to him, and I say, and she said, well, those other people.
Yes.
We only hear when somebody was on the crowd, Daddy, we will wait, go on.
Yes.
And them allow me.
Because they see the seriousness of the situation.
So somebody met me name at Children's Hospital. I remember one day, and this one is funny, but I'm going to say it still. I remember one day I came in with my son and I sat with him and was just there, just patient and everything. I mean, when me see a lady just look over to me and say, boy, that is a man like you me want to help. The most we could do is just laugh.
Laugh, yes.
And I think why she said it is just that you're always there with your
child.
Oh,
she recognized you as always being there.
Yeah,
okay.
Man.
Because she's always there too.
Yes. So after a while, the parent them get used to
each other.
Faces. The lady does say, boy, that is a man like you, me want. That is just laugh.
What about you growing up? Did you suffer with any illnesses growing up?
Well, I did not suffer with any illness growing up. But in between, this was like maybe when I was about 18-year-old. I started to have, and this was while I was at Victoria. Some unexplained headache that I just couldn't explain why I was having this headache. And it went on for a little while. And then now, one day I had a seizure when I was at work. And it was out of that, they realized that something more was happening. Again, Favour. So what had happened then is one of the managers put me on to a specialist, right? And they paid the cost. So every time I was supposed to visit that specialist, right, they paid the cost to ensure that I was attended.
So what they said is the root cause of
what the explanation was, enough oxygen is not flowing to the brain. I tell you, at one point they were telling me that it's a tumor, right? And after being the same specialist, doing a lot of examination and all of that, they realized that there was no tumor there, right? But he was picking up things that they didn't like. And I remember one day I was in the room and he said, all right, we need to do some further tests. And I sat in the room and he connected me to this machine and said, all right, give me a few minutes, I'm going outside. I soon come back. When he stepped out the room, I felt things started to happen in my head. I even looked to see if the machine was on. But I said, but the machine not on yet, so why am I feeling this way? So I felt like, like the machine was on and something was going on.
Mm-hmm.
The long and short of it, after he did that test, he said, Mr. Thompson, I'm a bit surprised, but I need to tell you that there is no tumor. Right? He himself was a bit surprised. So after that, I was on some medication just to control. Because what they were putting out there to me is that you have a surgery that they can do to correct it. But it is a 50-50 chance. Meaning you can correct what they say, but you might come out not able to see or hear.
It will cause the next problem.
So I just decided that.
That doesn't make no sense.
So I started looking at it differently. And I remember years ago, and that's why for me, I spend most of my life with senior persons. We get attached to seniors. And I remember this elderly man when I went to visit him. He said to me, not knowing what I was going through, he said to me, that problem that you're having is not to kill you, it's just a thorn in the flesh. And this is like more than 25 years ago. This gentleman said that.
Oh.
Right? And coming forward now and hearing some of the things that I'm exposed to at church about the thorn in the flesh and all of that, I'm like...
All making sense now.
All making sense. And I keep saying, all right, so if this was a tumor, how comes for more than 20 odd years me still living with this tumor? Me still alive. So whatever is happening, every now and then still.
It still affect you every now and again?
But it is control, meaning I have to monitor, one, my stress level, and I have to eat properly.
Okay.
Once I do that, I am good. Right? Because the doctor did make it clear that the medication is not to solve the problem.
Yeah, that's to manage it. Yeah.
And what used to happen to me is that I used to take the medication and still have seizures.
Yes.
Because
you weren't managing the other aspects.
The other aspect of it.
So right. Have you had a seizure recently? And how you deal with that?
I tell you.
Yeah.
You remember the week when we had those special services with that special.
This year, yes. 2023, earlier up in the year. That's in May.
What's his name? For the 3 days.
Damon Richardson.
I remember, and then again, this is the favor of God, because it so happened that the seizures, I was doing much better. And that was one of the reasons, I should say this, that was one of the reasons why I wasn't able to get a driver's license.
For all these years.
Yeah, because the doctor had said to me that he had to be going to court for several persons who he kind of encouraged them not to do any driving and then making accidents. Because
it could happen while you're on the road.
While you're driving. So I remember that week, and I knew what caused it. I was under a lot of stress physically, and then I didn't eat as I should.
Timely as you should.
And I drove here from the church office and drove the car right under that tree where you would normally park. And right there. A lot of people don't know. Because the thing with my seizures, I will be having it here now, you don't know.
Oh.
Because it's like my brain shut down. So I am looking at you, but I can't call your name.
Oh, so there isn't probably no physical shaking.
When it just started happening, that used to happen. That used to happen. But after the controlling and with the help of the doctor and I know the do's and the don'ts, what you find happened to me now, I've been looking at you, you're there, and I'm not able to say,
respond or anything.
Let's deal.
So you're basically not talking.
It's like the brain just shut down for a couple of seconds. Most of the time it's second. So that's what happened to me that day when I drove the car there. And I think it was another member, I think it might have been Brown at that time, Dennis, who picked up what was happening because my foot was on the brake. But they realized that I'm parking and I'm not moving.
Okay.
And
Oh,
shortly,
so you park with your foot on the brake, but
yes,
you're not coming out of the car or nothing.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I was about to park,
Yeah.
so I wasn't finished.
Yeah.
So I drove from here to right there, and that was then. And I must say this, that's why I say it's favor. There was never a time I had any of those seizures where it seems as if it is a setup. It just always happened at the right place where if I need help is there. There was never a time where it happened and there was no help and somebody had to call my family. Never.
So, question: if it is happening to you now, what do I do if I am in your presence?
You just have to just make sure that I am relaxed. And if I look like maybe I'm going down and to hit my head.
Yeah.
But as I said, for most part, no, it's the brain just shut down for a couple of seconds. I'll sit here and it will happen. I'll be talking to you now, and I pause and you don't know. It's me who have to tell you that. You know,
you pick it up afterwards.
Yeah. So that particular day is when I recover. And the thing about it, after that, I was up and about. After that
same day
I was actually put under pressure to go home. By then they called my sons, me, so them I drive up, so them come to take the car and drive me home. And that's how I ended. But when it happened, I was still functioning normal like that. Like if you were not outside that day, you wouldn't know that it had happened. Right? So that's how it is now, because it is better control. So it's not that I get rid of it, but I know the do's and the don'ts. So I kind of stay in the range to control.
Okay, Sir Mike, we're wrapping up now. So in closing, is there any word of encouragement that you'd like to offer persons watching, probably have similar experience like you with, growing up in a sheltered type of life and not exposed to everything, and now being an adult and have their own family? Any parental advice, say the advice as a husband that you would give to persons?
All right. One of the things I would say, if you are like in this age now, if you were grown up sheltered, it is not good to allow that same pattern for your child, because if the generation now, if you don't give them the privilege to do some things, they are going to take it, and it might end up more dangerous. So if you don't know how to, because you were not exposed, it is good to seek help. But you can't say now that you were sheltered, so I am going to just allow them that way, because this day and age, they are going to do it whether you like it or not. Right? As a husband, I would say there is no perfect relationship. But one of the things I believe we need to do as men, and this is me personally, is to try and ensure that you build a personal relationship with God. Why? It helps in the process. If you notice in the news recently, so many things coming out with domestic dispute, and I don't even without even saying it.
Yes.
Even in recent time, there are things coming out, and these are people who you think that, hey, I thought he would have it under control.
Yes.
Right? So time and things are different now, but when we build our relationship with God, it helps. And never think that it is weak to find a shoulder to lean on, because that's another thing with us as men. We think it's weakness to find another shoulder to lean on. I would encourage anybody, if you feel like you're snapping because of what your child did or what your boy did or what, and some of us sometimes will have interference in our relationship, right? If you feel like you're snapping, seek help, because if you don't, it can turn out to be sad, as we are seeing in our country, we have so much domestic dispute, and if you realize now, in the dispute, everybody is caught in the web. So the grandma is caught in the web, the children, whoever. And that a relationship is not worth that. So seek help and always remember it is not weak to have a shoulder to lean on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So there you have it, Mr. Michael Thompson sharing his journey with us. I hope you guys can learn a thing or two from his experience. So until next time, keep safe.